Donald Trump nominees Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard are facing their first confirmation hearings today. Gabbard, Trump's pick to be director of national intelligence, faced repeated questions over her attempts to pardon former NSA intelligence contractor Edward Snowden, with Republicans and Democrats pressing her to declare Snowden once and for all a traitor.
This is a big deal to everybody here because it's a big deal to everybody that you'll also oversee in that role as well. And so it's helpful for them to be able to hear your heart on this. So was Edward Snowden a traitor?
Senator, my heart is with my commitment to our Constitution and our nation's security.
Ours too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have shown throughout my almost 22 years of service in the military, as well as my time in Congress, how seriously I take the privilege of having access to classified information and our nation's secrets. And that's why I'm committed, if confirmed as Director of National Intelligence, to join you in making sure that there is no future Snowden-type leak.
Was he a traitor at the time when he took America's secrets, released them in public, and then ran to China and became a Russian citizen?
Senator, I'm focused on the future and how we can prevent something like this from happening again.
Is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America? That is not a hard question to answer when the stakes are this high.
Senator, as someone who has
your
served
answer,
in
yes
uniform,
or no, is Edward Snowden a traitor to the United States of America?
as someone who has worn our uniform in combat, I understand how critical our national security is.
Apparently you don't.
Across the Capitol complex, Kash Patel was asked about whether he means the words that he has said.
Have you referred to the media as the most powerful enemy of the United States that they have ever seen? Is that right?
Again, you're reading a quote. I take that you're reading it accurately.
CPAC 223-24. You said we're going to come after the people in the media who lied about American citizens who helped Joe Biden rig the elections. We're going to come after you whether it's criminally or civilly. Is that something you said?
That's a partial statement of what I said.
Steve Bannon's podcast. You also said you would put the entire fake news mafia press corps on your list. Is that correct? Is that what you said?
I don't have that in front of me.
Benny Johnson's podcast, 821-23. You have said that the FBI, including today, you said that they remain utterly corrupt. This is an agency with agents who have taken down terrorists, taken down bank robbers, taken down crime. And you wrote that the FBI has become so thoroughly compromised that it will remain a threat to the people unless drastic measures are taken. Do you know that under Chris Wray's leadership, he took over at a very difficult time, we all know that, appointed by President Trump, that during his tenure, the applications to the FBI has, in fact, tripled? Do you think people would be applying to that agency, like in those numbers, if they thought it was so corrupt?
The American public's trust in it is at 40%. That's an all-time low.
Joining us now, NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles. So, these were aggressive questions. What's your sense of whether these nominees will first get out of committee and then will be able to be confirmed by the full Senate?
Yeah, and I watched both of these hearings as closely as I possibly could, given the fact that they were both happening at the same time. And I noticed quite a distinction between the Patel hearing and the Gabbard hearing, in that the Patel hearing, there was almost no pushback from Republican senators. Right on down the line, they seem to be very positive about him as the next FBI director. They believe that he can fulfill Donald Trump's mission of reforming the FBI on whatever terms Donald Trump claims them to be. And they seem to be perfectly happy with giving him the keys to the FBI, despite his controversial statements in the past, his enemies list, his calls for political retribution, everything along those lines. So it seems as though Patel is on a path to sail to confirmation because, of course, he can be confirmed and still lose 3 Republican votes, even if every Democrat votes against him. It was a much different situation in the Gabbard hearing. They are different committees, but the Intel Committee, you saw Republican senators really press Tulsi Gabbard on a wide range of issues. Yes, the Edward Edward Snowden question what came up over and over again from Republican senators, but they also wanted to know definitively what she thought about the FISA program, the surveillance program that allows the nation's intelligence communities to spy and collect evidence on foreign adversaries. They wanted very specific questions about the meeting that she had with Bashar al-Assad, whether or not she believed the talking points from the Kremlin that they accused her of parroting. These were Republicans asking her these questions, not just Democrats. I want to show you one example from Susan Collins on the Edward Snowden issue.
Would you support or recommend a pardon or any kind of clemency for Edward Snowden?
Thank you for the question, Senator Collins. If confirmed as the Director of National Intelligence, my responsibility would be to ensure the security of our nation's secrets and would not take actions to advocate for any actions related to Snowden.
So the answer is no. Is
Correct.
that correct?
And so there's two ways to look at this, right, Katie? It could mean that Republicans are laying the groundwork to say that they're willing to stand up to Donald Trump and prevent Tulsi Gabbard from being the next Director of National Intelligence, or they're trying to give her the space to clarify some of her previous statements and previous positions on some of these issues so they can feel comfortable voting for her. We're not exactly sure which way that's going to play itself out, but at this point, not a single Republican has said that there are no vote on Tulsi Gabbard at this point.
Really quick, so I'm running out of time, but I want to ask you about what happened in the RFK hearing today, his second confirmation hearing, and this one was from Senator Cassidy, really pressing him on vaccines. He seemed skeptical of RFK. Are you becoming more skeptical of RFK's ability to pass and become leader of HHS?
Yeah, I still believe that he is likely to be confirmed, but I do believe that there are some cracks in that path to nomination based solely on what we saw from Cassidy today. Cassidy said for the first time on the record in a public setting that he had real questions about RFK Jr.'s nomination, which I think is very significant. Said specifically he wanted clarity on the vaccine issue and felt that he didn't get it. If Cassidy is a no vote, that could lead to many others. At this point, he hasn't said whether or not he'll vote yes or no. But he could be a leading indicator of where this nomination is headed, because keep in mind, he needs to get out of committee first. If Cassidy votes no in the committee, it'll be very difficult for RFK Jr. to get his vote all the way to the floor.